most important episode of Sunscreen Must. So in this episode we will learn a lot of things. So हम बहुत कुछ सीखने वाले हैं सनस्क्रीन के बारे में, सनस्क्रीन को कैसे लगाया जाता है, सनस्क्रीन कब लगाना चाहिए, कौन से सीज़न में लगाना चाहिए और कितना लगाना चाहिए। और इसको और डिटेल से बताने के लिए हमारे साथ हैं यहाँ पर द मोस्ट रिनाउंड dermatologist and cosmetologist Dr. Roma Pandhi. So, ma'am, we welcome you. Thank you so much for being here, and we are really glad to have you here. So, Dr. Roma Pandhi is from Chandigarh, and look at you, ma'am. You're looking so beautiful, and your skin is glowing like anything. So, how do you manage all this?
So, I think the secret of my beauty lies maybe to some extent my genetics. And also being a dermatologist makes me understand what to apply, when to apply, and what not to apply. That saves me from a lot of trouble and keeps me having a trouble-free skin.
So, मैम आज तो आपसे बहुत कुछ सीखने वाले हैं हम सनस्क्रीन पे स्किन के बारे में. So, this episode gonna be very very beneficial for all of us. And मैम आपसे कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूँगी मैं. So, my first question is कि what are the key challenges वी फेस कि हमारी जो स्किन है जो फेस करती है कि हमें सनस्क्रीन जब हम अप्लाई करते हैं, जैसे सीज़न के बारे में, तो हम किस तरीके से उसको हमें सीज़न के हिसाब से अप्लाई करना चाहिए, कैसे अप्लाई करना चाहिए, हमें बताइए प्लीज़.
सो सबसे पहले सीजन्स के बारे में बात करें तो हर एक सीज़न का अपना स्किन के ऊपर अलग प्रभाव होता है या अलग चेंजेस लाते हैं स्किन के ऊपर. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल मानसून सीजन्स होते हैं जब वेदर बहुत ह्यूमिड होता है. सो आवर स्किन टेंड्स टू मेक अ लॉट मोर ऑयल, इट्स मोर स्टिकी एंड गेट्स मोर एक्ने प्रोन. फिर जब विंटर्स आते हैं इट्स अ वेरी ड्राई वेदर कंडीशन बिकॉज ऑफ द लो टेम्परेचर्स एंड लेस वाटर इन द एयर. That makes our skin surface very dry, so that requires a different kind of maintenance. When it comes to summer seasons, very clearly because of the strong UV rays from the sun exposure, our skin surface tends to get dry, and also we start to age faster during the summers. And so it requires a different kind of skincare routine. So every season has its type of skincare that needs to be followed.
जब हमारा जो स्किन है वो सन में एक्सपोज होता है तो मैम क्या होता है उससे, लाइक कई बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं कि कई बोलते हैं कि नहीं नेचुरली रहना चाहिए, तो अगर हम सन में निकलते हैं तो हमारी स्किन एक्सपोज होती है, उससे क्या क्या हमारे नुकसान होते हैं.
ओके सो ये एक्चुअली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. अगर हम ये इसका आंसर समझेंगे तभी हम सनस्क्रीन का इम्पोर्टेंस भी समझेंगे. सो सनस्क्रीन के बहुत कई तरीके के डैमेज होते हैं डिपेंडिंग अपॉन आपकी स्किन टाइप कैसी है. वी हैव Fitzpatrick scale of skin type. It ranges from 6 to 1, and the fairer skin types, which are the 1, 2, 3 types, they are more prone to sunburns and more prone to sun damage, versus the skin types which are 4, 5 and 6, they are more prone to sun tanning, and also they definitely are prone to aging. The UV rays in general produce a lot more melanin in the skin. They dry the surface of the skin. They decrease the collagen production, and because of which we age faster and also we tend to tan faster.
तो मैम लाइक स्किन टाइप्स बहुत सारे होते हैं, कॉम्बिनेशन स्किन है, ऑयली स्किन है, एक्ने प्रोन है. सो हमें जो सनस्क्रीन है वो अपने स्किन टाइप के हिसाब से लगाना चाहिए या हर सनस्क्रीन हर स्किन पे सूट कर सकती है.
Okay, so for sunscreens, basically there's no one size fits all. Every skin type or every, whether it's the Fitzpatrick kind of a grading of the skin, or whether you have an oily skin, dry skin, every skin type should follow a particular kind of sunscreen. And we are now fortunate in this days and time, we have a variety of either a basket of sunscreens we can choose from, depending on skin type. So it's never one size fits all. We need to understand our skin, I think, for which we need to visit a dermatologist who can appropriately select the right sunscreen for you and prescribe it for you.
So ma'am, what are the cornerstone of a winter skincare routine?
So as I was mentioning earlier also, that in the winters, we have more tendency to dry skin. So the most important cornerstone would be, I think, usage of moisturizers on a very regular basis. And if we have the drier kind of skin type, then we need to use a sunscreen which might have an added moisturizer in it. So it serves the purpose of photo protection as well as also moisturizing our skin at the same time. And I think moisturizers are the golden rule during any winter season weather conditions.
And ma'am, should we use the sunscreen all day? Like पूरे दिन लगाना चाहिए या कैसे लगाना चाहिए मैम?
So, see, because UV rays are present actually as long as there is daylight, UV rays are there. But unfortunately, nowadays we use so many of these gadgets and we have these screen exposures through our television screens or to our mobile screens, which we are using mostly at night. Now, they all emit some kind of rays, right? Because of which there is light emitting from them. So, there is some radiation we're getting exposed to from these screens as well. So yes, I usually advise the 24/7 application of sunscreen and 365 days. Even whether it's cloudy, rainy, we need sunscreen every single day of our life. Even housewives or maybe the children who are sitting at home, maybe not going out so much during their vacations, they also need equal amount of sunscreen application.
Ma'am, whenever we go to like a store or something, we see sunscreen और उस पे कुछ SPF लिखा होता है. तो what does that SPF mean and like how should we choose the right SPF for us?
Okay, so that's a very good question. SPF basically stands for sun protection factor. And so it basically means that how much of our skin is getting protected from the UV rays. So there is this Boot Star rating also, which further helps us, which is called as the PA, which is the protection from UV rays. Normally an SPF ranges anywhere from 15 to 70 and the average best protection factor being somewhere around 50 SPF. And then when it comes to the PA or the photo protection, particularly from the UV rays, UVA kind of rays, that is we have different kind of UV rays, that is UVA, UVB, and also the infrared radiations. So when we talk about the PA triple plus or PA, usually on a sunscreen we always see PA plus 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 or PA double plus or PA single plus. So basically the plus represents the higher protection factor. More the pluses, more the protection we get from our UV rays. So this PA triple plus was rating was devised by the Boots company in London, and we have been following it ever since in terms of protection factor from UVA rays. And in general, SPF of around 50 is generally good for all skin types.
Ma'am, we are learning a lot of facts about sunscreen. So I want to know ki how much quantity is best to apply on our face and neck, and plus should we need to reapply the sunscreen or is it just enough to like once we have applied it?
So that's a very important question because I believe it's not only using a sunscreen which is important. Using the adequate amount of sunscreen is important to get and efficient protection from the UV rays. So on an ideal daily basis, for demonstration purposes, I will show you that we need full fingers of our first and second finger. This is the amount that we should be applying on a daily basis for our face and neck. Of course, if we need for the body surface area, the application quantity can increase, but on an average daily basis, 2 fingers of sunscreen application is more than enough.
And ma'am, should we need to reapply it? And if yes, then after how much time we need to reapply it?
So sunscreens have to be reapplied depending only on the type of occupation you have and the amount of sun exposure you're facing on a daily basis. So if you are into an occupation where there is a lot of sun exposure and you are going in and out of sun, going into the sun out a lot during the daytime, then I think a repeat application every 4 to 6 hourly. Though most of the sunscreen labels would say they give you a 6 to 8 hours of protection, but if your sun exposure is a lot, you definitely need to reapply your sunscreen somewhere in the middle of the day again.
So, Dr. Roma, how many types of sunscreens are there?
So we have a huge basket of sunscreens available. A lot of companies are coming out with all kinds of sunscreens, gel-based, lotion-based, spray-based, and even the tinted sunscreens. Now, the what kind of sunscreen actually we need to understand the skin type for that, whether we have an oily skin, which is acne prone, or we have a skin which is dry and stays dry throughout the year, or we have a sensitive kind of a skin, or if we want sunscreen depending upon our day-to-day makeup wear. So there are a lot of sunscreens and we need to choose it as per our skin type and our daily requirement, and also depending upon the kind of sun exposure we have on a day-to-day basis. So yes, selecting a sunscreen would primarily depend on your requirement and your kind of a sunscreen.
So, ma'am, if someone is having the oily skin type or acne prone skin type, so they have to choose the sunscreen accordingly.
Yes, so as I mentioned, people who have an oily skin, they tend to have, when we say the word oily by itself means they have a lot more oil on the surface. 365 days, their skin is producing a lot more oil. So we don't want to give them sunscreens which are again very cream based or very oil based. So I would recommend for people or patients who have an oily or an acne prone skin, they should be using a different kind of sunscreen which is gel based, which is light, non-greasy and non-comedogenic.
And Dr. Roma, like as you told us right now, that we have different types of sunscreen like gel based, tinted, spray, etc. So, how to choose the right one for our skin?
So these are the different type of formulations, I would say, of sunscreen. They're not the type of sunscreens, but in the different ways the sunscreens are formulated as per the requirement. So when starting with the gel-based sunscreens, as I mentioned earlier, they're more for acne or oily prone skin, or people who are patients who like a lightweight, very lightweight sunscreen, and especially during the monsoons, everyone generally also always likes light gel-based sunscreens. Then we have the cream-based sunscreen, which are for people who have dry skin throughout the year. No matter what the weather is, the skin surface always tends to stay dry. So these cream-based sunscreen have a moisturizing effect as well as photo protection. So cream-based are for these kind of patients. When we're talking about the lotion, they're more like for the body areas because they spread more easily, and the ease of application is much more. And the spray sunscreen nowadays, they're a new introduction. Most of the companies are coming out with it. They are more used again for the body surface areas and for when you're going out for vacation, which has a beach destination, and you want ease of application where you don't have to rub things around your body all day. So a spray form becomes a very easy form of application. So that's how we choose the sunscreen, depending upon, again, the kind of formulation we look for, depending on the kind of skin we have also, and depending on our, I would say, requirement in terms of the application.
All right, Dr. Roma, thank you so much for guiding us a lot of things about sunscreen on this episode. So, what message you would like to give to our viewers there who are watching you, and in about sunscreen or in general skincare?
Okay, so most of all, I think that sunscreens are definitely important, but before that, we need to understand about our skincare. So like they say, charity begins at home, skincare begins at home, for which need to precisely understand the kind of skin we have and use our products wisely, so that we are avoiding a lot of friction in terms of sensitivities, allergies, and also getting the effective results on our skin. And coming to these sunscreens, yes, they are absolutely a must for any age, for any gender. There is no bias. For people who are indoors, outdoors, who think that because it's rainy or snowy or rainy outside, they don't need to use sunscreen because there is no sun exposure. But on a day-to-day basis, the gadgets that we're using, the microwave ovens, the cooking ranges, they all emit some kind of infrared radiations as well, which can also to some extent cause damage. So I think 24/7 application of sunscreens, and as per your skin type, Also, the adequacy of the sunscreen application. Just applying a few dots around your face is not going to give you the protection. You need to apply the adequate amount of sunscreens to get the perfect protection from the UVB, UVA rays, and for which you need to understand what kind of skin you have and what type of sunscreen your skin needs. For which I think I would recommend that you consult a dermatologist and take their opinion on the perfect kind of sunscreen for you, because it's not one size fits all sunscreen.
All right, Dr. Roma, thank you so much for being here and giving up your precious time from your busy schedule. We are really glad to have you. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in with our podcast that is Sunscreen Must. We learned a lot of things about sunscreen. I think all the facts we have covered. And now we know how much to apply, when to apply, and each and everything about sunscreen we have covered. So yes, for more podcasts like this, you can tune in to our podcast channel. We are available on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcast as well. Thank you so much.